Happy 60th Merdeka Day! First of all, I would like to thank all of you for liking my Facebook page, and this will help me to create more videos in the future to share with you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Right, I received a message. It goes like this. Why some of the property, new development in Kuala Lumpur, some of them cost more expensive, the other one costs less. Okay, why? So there's a difference between there. For example, like 600k against 300k per unit. Well, assuming that these two properties are the same. Okay, the size is same, no furnishing, no same facility, everything is the same. Okay, but the only difference is the location. Okay, that makes the whole difference of it. But then again, we have to look into the how a development works. Of course, there are a lot of costs involved, but we're going to talk into just highlight few of them that's cost significant to the developers. For example, the first one would be the land cost, the construction cost, the admin cost, the authority approval, and professional fee. For example, the architect, the engineers. These are the main costs. It's part of the most significant one to the developers. But one thing that determines the price, why is so significant different, provided everything is the same, no finishing, no nothing, same size, just a location. It's down to the price of the land when they buy. Okay, because some of the land, for example, in KLCC, obviously more expensive because it is very convenient, a lot of infrastructure, and close to the main attraction, and that's why the land per square foot is more expensive, and this drive the whole price of the property. While if you say that the another property is in KL but it's slightly away, but the developer bought the land is a little bit cheaper, and that's where they have a lot of margin to play with, because the land will give a whole chunk of the profit margin. So in that case, because if you look into the other costs involved, put aside the land, if you look into the other costs, it will be more or less the same, even though it's different places. For example, if you're outside of KL, in Selangor, in Seremban, in Perak, the construction cost is more or less the same, because the material they use is the same. They use metal, they use cement, they use the tiles. More or less, there's a market price to it. So when you come to the pricing, all these costs are the same regardless where you are, where the development is. But one thing is different is the land cost. The land cost will surely determine the price of the property. To compare with the property in KLCC, and then if you compare with the property in maybe in a little bit further away in Rawang, in Seremban, it will cost much cheaper because of the land. The construction and professional fee may be more or less a little bit different, but not much, not as much as land. So that's the reason why the price of the property is highly determined and influenced by the land cost. The land cost will give a huge eat up a huge profit margin in any development. Well, yeah, I also want to share what the other way, how the land cost actually influence the development. But this one I have to give credit to Dan from the Running Stream. I had a little chat with him. He just opened up a new office in KL. I think I spoke to him, I learned a lot from him, and then he's a very knowledgeable guy, and he told me this. The property prices in Malaysia is very high, but the construction cost is cheap, because we have a lot of cheap labor and everyone, right? But when it comes to development in the overseas, for example in Australia, the land price is cheap. It's different from us. But then again, when it comes to the construction cost, it will cost a lot of to developers. For example, on contrary to us, in Malaysia, the one thing that costs us a lot is the land, okay, and the construction cost is all the same. But when it comes to the development in Australia, the cost for the land acquisition is okay, it's relatively cheap, but when it comes to the construction, it will cost a lot that you have to eat up. The construction costs literally eat up quite a chunk from the profit margin. So these are the things that I want to share with you guys, in terms of the cost for development. Why some of the project price it that way, why some of the project price it that way, but ultimately the cost that influence the price of the project is the land. Okay, it's the land that actually influence the price of a project, but that's applicable to Malaysia. But when it comes to the overseas, they will have different kind of cost involved. But in Australia, it's obviously the thing that costs most to the developer is the construction cost, which is the labor. Okay, so I hope you guys learn something from this video, and I'll see you next time. All right, see you guys.